What's up? This is Rap Hits, and so Young Thug might be getting off his case if the lawyer can really put this new information to use in the courtroom, because sometimes that's all it takes is what happened in this Atlanta situation on this case, because allegedly the DA, Fanny, it turns out she might have obtained information without going through all the legal processes she was supposed to go through. It sounds like what I'm hearing is with that whole car rental thing where Young Thug's car was being used for, an execution type thing. I can't really say the words, you know what I'm saying, but you know what happened. Somebody got taken out. So basically that car was used in that situation. And so it turns out what they're saying, what I'm hearing from my sources and from lawyer lawyer reports and stuff like that, is they're saying that Fanny and her department and the DA had basically obtained that information by presenting what looked like a warrant, but it turns out with the lawyer from Young Thug's case is saying it turns out it looks like they didn't have a judge's signature. It was something like that where, they kind of like came to the car company like, let me get this information and, flash some paperwork, but it really wasn't signed or authorized for them to be getting that information. Now, this type of stuff can go either way, because after this took place, they used that to get more and more information. So Fanny and them were able to build on the case with that starting point, and they were able to get witnesses after that and testimony, and people started getting scared, and they were giving up more and more information. So the car company gave up the information that the DA needed to get started with the case, because they weren't questioning the paperwork. They were kind of tricked. It was a tactic that was used. But for the DA and Fanny to get all the information after that, does that invalidate all the information she got from the witnesses and the testimony after that? That's the thing. It can work in that way, because if you remember the OJ case with OJ Simpson, basically, the glove, it wasn't just about the glove not fitting, but also the misconduct by the detectives. Misconduct can take out a case, can get a case dismissed and dropped sometimes, because the due legal process wasn't done properly. That's why with this Migos takeoff case, they're taking their time, because they can't have any errors. They got to dot all their I's and cross all their T's, because if there's errors, that can get a case dismissed and thrown out. It's not guaranteed, but with a good enough lawyer like Young Thug has and like OJ had, stuff like that, they can really show that this case was improperly conducted. That violation can get the whole thing dropped, because, like I said, all her additional information after that was based on the original information that wasn't handled properly. So just because you got all this other information, all that can get thrown out too, because you wouldn't have got that information, because you wouldn't have had a case to begin with if if you if your original information was gotten by error, by mischievous conduct by the DA office. So if this sticks, and it's a possibility, then this whole case can either get dropped, or they might end up having to let Young Thug out on bail, or they might just stand their ground and keep everything moving as is and just throw out that one piece of information. We'll just have to see how this all plays out. I mean, with Youngboy, that type of stuff helped get his case dropped when he went up against the feds. It's not like they dropped it though in his case. You see, they made him go through the hoops anyways. They made not Young Thug, Youngboy. NBA Youngboy had a similar situation, is what I meant to say, because NBA Youngboy, they had memory cards with him holding them Glocks and stuff and them the artillery. And basically, it looks like the judge threw all that out because it wasn't obtained with a search warrant. You know, it was like they had no right to have those videos and stuff with them holding those guns. So they weren't able to use that in the court. And it was just that specific stuff, though, they couldn't use. They went ahead with the case, and then that's when Youngboy beat the case because there was all this misconduct. They really could have just dropped it, but you know they were too stubborn and too prideful, I guess, to drop it. But they probably knew the writing was on the wall when the lawyers started uncovering stuff like that, because that type of stuff doesn't fly very good with a jury. You know, when the jury sees misconduct and stuff like that in handling the case, that stuff can really mess up the DA's case. So with Youngboy, we saw an example of what can happen to a case if they don't drop it. They just end up beating it anyways. So this is something where Young Thug's lawyer, that's why he's paying them so much, you know, because this type of stuff can really get a case dismissed, thrown out, or beaten. Either way, it's going to come up to where it looks like they can't use some of that evidence now. It's probably not going to be allowed. If it moves forward, they're not going to allow, it looks like they're not going to allow that whole car rental thing to make it into the courtroom. So that's a win for Young Thug. And then, you know, that's why he's paying these high-priced lawyers, is to be able to uncover stuff like this. And, you know, that's going to hurt the DA's case a little bit, but like I said, she got other techniques to use. She got the witnesses and all that. So if they don't throw out all that stuff, he still has an uphill battle. But you know, we'll have to see how this all plays out. So he has another court date coming up. Young Thug has another court date coming up. We'll just have to pay attention and see what's popping. Make sure you're subscribed here on Rap Hits, or go to raphits1.com and subscribe to my free email newsletters, and you'll be up to date on everything coming out in the hip-hop world. We got new music videos, all the top music videos and interviews and all that over there. So we got exclusives and much more. So make sure you're stay in tune with Rap Hits. I'm out of here.